Guys, we're back. And in this video, I'm going to give you my honest opinion about the different databases of leads that there are available. This is my unbiased opinion. I am not affiliated with any of the softwares that I'm going to be talking about in this video, so you can rest assured that this is the real experience, my real thoughts, and that I'm not paid by any of this. So also, make sure to stay until the end of the video because I'm going to tell you a secret strategy so you can get access to these tools for way, way cheaper than what they actually cost. Okay, so let's get into it, and I think you're going to love it. So let's share my screen here. Here it is. Awesome. So one thing is that I'm not sure if I said it already, but some of them are better for phone numbers. Some of them are better for emails, and all others give you more information about the company in general or social media links, things like that. So I'll give you my thoughts on what the best ones are first thing, and gonna leave my date here for a second. But okay, let's get into it. So the first one is Gorilla Leads. To be honest, I tried it only for about less than 2 weeks. It was about a year ago, and the reason was that back then, I don't know if anything has changed, but back then they didn't have any sort of contact information. It was just business information. It was just yeah, it was basically using Google Maps to scrape leads. So you would get the business information, and also you would get the phone number that was there on the Google on the Google page. So no direct phone numbers. And lastly, and what ended up being the deal breaker for me was that it was just taking a ton of time because it would only allow you to scrape 20 leads at a time. So you would have to like load 20 and then scrape them, and then 20 and 20 and 20. And I think you could like go to the different pages and you could do up to 101 scrape, but it was very manual. And so it would take a lot of manual work. Maybe if you give the task to a virtual assistant, it's worth it. But again, in terms of the quality of the data, there were no direct contact information, no direct phone numbers. It was just scraping for Google. Then also it didn't allow you to get like a ton of data at the same time. So it required a lot of manual work. And if you ended up using a VA, it was going to take, it just adds to the cost of it, right? So, I think that maybe if you're short in money, you can test it, but because I remember, I think it was pretty cheap. Maybe it was like $29, something like that. Yeah, 37 for one-time payment, no monthly fees. Well, yeah, no, I'm not sure this is true because I remember they had like initial offer, and then they would like upsell you for more things, and it was limited, so you would need to get more things to go up the tier in terms of the pricing to get access to the things that were most useful. But anyways, those are my thoughts. I didn't like early leads that much. I stopped using it pretty fast just because it was not what I'm looking for. And then the Zominfo. We're basically going to the other side of the spectrum. Zominfo is a great tool. It has a lot of direct phone numbers. It has really good data about the company. It also gives you intent. So if someone within a company is looking at specific things, like let's say you sell marketing software and they're assuming for able to see, not sure exactly how they figure it out, but it's able to figure out the intent. So you can get notifications like someone from this company was looking into marketing software, into recruiting software, etc. So that one is mainly for enterprise accounts, big companies, which, you know, if you're watching this video, you're probably not selling to enterprise. You're more focused on local businesses, as I am. But anyways, just wanted to mention it because it's a very complete software. It's again has really good data, emails, corporate emails, personal emails as well for a lot of the contacts. But the big but is that it is pretty expensive. I think one license costs like, they have different packages because there's usually, if you're in tech, if you're in software, you're very familiar with it, very likely. A lot of it's kind of like the go-to tool for software companies. So it is very expensive, maybe 10K, and then I mean 10K per license, per, I don't know if it was per year. I'm not even familiar with it, with how it works. But again, I'm gonna give you a little hack at the end of the video so you can get access to it for without paying for less than $100. Okay. So next one. So this one, okay, we're gonna, oh yeah, I forgot. We're gonna start rating them on a scale of 1 to 10. So Gorilla Lids, I would say it's pretty bad in my opinion. I would give it 2 out of 10. Zominfo, lead quality, great. Contact information, great. Phone numbers, great. Emails, great. But it's very expensive. So let's say I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10, just because it is very expensive. If it was like a lot more affordable, it would probably get an 8 out of, I mean, a 9.9 out of 10. It's possible to get 10. And this is good for SMS campaigns. If you're doing SMS automations, this is going to be great because you're going to have a lot of direct phone numbers. This is great for cold email campaigns. Again, you're going to have a lot of good emails, and not a lot of bounces, which, I mean, regardless, you should clean up your data before starting the campaign. But we'll leave that for a different video. But also, if you're going to do cold calling, if you're going to do voicemail drop automations, this is going to be a very good tool if you're going to do any of this campaigns. Okay. LeadRocks is really good. It's very good for numbers, specifically for phone numbers, especially among the, I wouldn't call it a cheap tool, but among the most, I mean, decent, good bang for your buck tools. It's really good for phone numbers. So I would give that actually an 8.5 out of 10. Emails is not as good. If I was running a cold email campaign, I wouldn't scrape from LeadRocks. I would probably use other tools. I would use Zominfo, and I would use some of the others that I'm gonna talk about here in a bit. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I would use other tools. But if you're doing SMS automations, if you're doing cold calls or voicemail drop automations for any of this, that is really good because it's going to give you a lot of direct phone numbers. So I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. And it is great again for SMS automations. No, for cold email, it's for cold calling. And voicemail drops. Gorilla Lids. I mean, I didn't add anything because I wouldn't use it specific for any of these automations. Maybe if you were maybe no, not even because I was gonna say like a Facebook automation. Um, because there's a tool, functionality that allows you to scrape some social media pages. So let's say, yeah, we'll give it Facebook automations. But still, I think there's better ways to get Facebook data for your automations, but it's decent. I think it could work. Apollo. Polo is also a pretty expensive one. Um, in terms of, but at least you can afford it on your own as a small business owner or as a freelancer, as an agency owner. Because Zominfo, for example, is like completely unaffordable for us if we wanted to get the tool. As I mentioned, there's a way around it, but in general, it is unaffordable unless it is not affordable unless you're good sized company, with multiple employees and things like that. Okay. Apollo is a good one. It has good data, not as good as Zominfo, but it's got solid data, both emails and phone numbers. It makes you pay extra. I mean, they all make you pay extra for phone credits for direct phone numbers, which it depends. It's worth it, but this one it is a little bit on the higher end for direct phone numbers. So, for example, if you were to just use LeadRox to get phone numbers, it would end up being cheaper, in my opinion, if you use LeadRox. You would get a better bang for your buck. The good thing about Apollo, though, is that if you were only going to use one tool, Apollo is going to give you a more complete list in terms of because it's also going to give you direct emails. So if you can only use one, and you can if you can only use one, if you want to and you want to do both cold calling and SMS outreach and things like that, and you can only use one tool, I would use Apollo. If you only want to do text and calling, I would use LeadRox. And if you're able to do both or multiple tools, I would use LeadRox for phone numbers and Apollo for emails. Okay, so we're gonna give Apollo a 7 out of 10. This one, we're gonna give it everything, just because, I mean, not everything, because there's social media, and most of these tools are not fit for social media campaigns, for automations, Facebook, Instagram, etc. There's better tools for scraping that kind of data. And I'll talk about that in a video later on. But SMS automations, cold calling, and voicemail drops. It works for all of them. D7 LeadFinder. This one, I used it a bit ago. I think it's a really good tool if you can clean it up. So what I mean is that, with all of this, you're gonna have to use to use cleaner a cleaner, a data cleaner, basically, both for your phone numbers and for your email. So if you're gonna do a cold texting campaign, you're gonna want to use tool. There's many available. The tool to clean up the data so you don't have landlines. Because if you set up the text campaign and there's a lot of landlines, the text is gonna bounce. And if you get a lot of bounces, you're gonna start getting, you're gonna start getting restrictions. You're gonna get limits. You're gonna it's gonna limit you in terms of the amount of daily text that you can send. and they might eventually ban you. So you're gonna have to use clean that data to make sure that you only have direct phone numbers. Same with cold email. You know, regardless of the tool, you're gonna have to do it. But I just feel that with 7D7 LeadFinder, you might spend a little bit more cleaning up the data because it's gonna give you a lot of data, which is really good. It's gonna give you, you're gonna scrape a massive amount of leads in it in one search, but it's also not gonna be as clean. So just keep that in mind. Um, Again, something that I think is really cool about D7 LeadFinder is that you can scrape up to 20 cities at the same time. So you put a keyword and you go and you can you're gonna scrape 20 cities at the same time. Usually what I do is I use a keyword and I put the top 20 most populated cities in the US. I have an Excel sheet with the cities, the top like 50 cities in terms of population in the US. So I use 20 at a time, from the 1 to 20, see, and gives me a ton of data. So really good for massive data. It can work for a lot of the automations, but you're gonna get way less direct phone numbers. So, and you're gonna spend more money cleaning up the data because, you know, so I mentioned, I mean, I guess you can divide the list and only clean up a portion of data. Say you get 5,000 leads, you only clean up 1,000 leads at a time. That way it's not as expensive as cleaning that 5,000, right? That's an alternative, but you're not gonna get as many direct phone numbers. It's still gonna work, and it gives you so many leads that that you're gonna end up with a good amount. So it's a solid one. Just keep those limitations in mind. So we're gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Good. Again, SMS, cold calling. I mean, I guess next time I should give it like a specific rating, like SMS rating, cold calling rating, voicemail drops, which I guess it would be the same as cold calling, and cold email rating separately, right? But anyways, Seamless AI. Seamless AI is pretty similar to Apollo in terms of benefits and the limitations. Just things, you know, it gets a bit better data, but it is also way more expensive. Again, it's kind of like in the same category as Zominfo. If you're an agency owner starting out, or if you're a small business and don't have a ton of employees, a ton of revenue, it's gonna be unaffordable. I think one license is like 5K. So it's pretty expensive to get it. So definitely not available starting out. But again, make sure to watch it because I'm gonna give you a secret so you can get access to the leads on Seamless AI. Okay. But so because of that, we're gonna have to give it 8 out of 10 again. 8 out of 10. Read SMS, cold calling. Same. The VM drops as well. Okay. Good. Now LeadSwift. This is a good tool. It's affordable. Last time I checked, it was I think $29, and the way that it works is that you can do, depending on your plan, I think the most basic plan you can do 3 searches per day, which is plenty. Especially starting out, it's gonna be plenty. But again, it just scrapes different I mean, basically scrapes the website, Google, other, available data online for information. So again, you're not going to be getting a lot of direct phone numbers. It's going to be good for local business owners, but a lot of them are, you're not going to get I mean, for none of them, you're not going for none of them, you're not going to get their direct phone number for none of them, unless it's like, a small business and the owner has his own cell phone on on Google reviews, which happens often. So you're gonna get some good numbers. I used it for cold calling gyms, which was, I mean, it was decent because, as I mentioned, a lot of the gyms had the owner's cell phone, so he would pick up, and that would be good. However, those were usually, if it was the owner, the one that was picking up, they were usually pretty small gyms that, couldn't afford to hire someone to do that job. So they were also not as willing to invest because of it. And otherwise, yeah, I would get a lot of front desk numbers, but it still worked in that niche. I got some good big bookings. So I think it's good. Again, it's affordable. So I would recommend it for cold calling. I think it will definitely get you results. Just be prepared um, to talk to a lot of gatekeepers. But I think it's really good also that you can scrape a ton of leads with only one search. You might get, like, depending on the city and the keyword, but maybe 1,000, a little over 1,000 leads with one search. You do 3 cities per day. That's for 3,000 leads per day. So it is a ton of leads. So it's good. I'm gonna give it mm, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. And again, some of this might vary a little bit depending on the niche that you're in, right? Because if you have, like, you're going maybe after gyms, after um let's say after home improvement companies, after pressure washing companies, this could be a good one. LeadSwift could be good. LeadFinder could be good because as we talked about, a lot of the owners are going to have their direct phone number there available online. So you can be decent. But for example, if you're going to go after, you know, real estate investors or, bigger companies, big solar companies, things of that nature, you're gonna have more luck with tools like Zominfo, LeadRocks, and Seamless AI. So because um, those tools use other databases to get a hold of the direct phone number. So it also depends on the niche. Perfect. If you're targeting, just lastly on that, last thing on that, if you're targeting, again, like small home improvement companies, it's probably not even going to be worth it to get a more expensive tool like LeadRocks or Seamless AI, because the phone number of the owner is going to be available on the Google reviews page online, and you can get it with cheaper tools. But something to keep in mind as well. Now, what I promised. How to get access to all of these tools for chip. Number one, it's a friend. So I've gotten a lot of access to Zominfo, to Apollo, and to Seamless AI, mainly Zominfo and Apollo, by just connecting with friends. Like, if you have a friend that is in sales, that is in software, he's gonna 100% have access to one of the, you know, elite tools, to call them that way, or one of these tools that are top of the food chain. So just ask them to make um, a search for you. Okay, we can go into all of the specifics of the searches on a later video, but I wanted to keep it just as a brief overview so you can know which ones to use. And um, oh yeah, so just ask them, hey, can you run the search for me? I did it multiple times. Um, they, when you work for a tech company, you use these softwares. You have basically unlimited access to it. You just might get limited cell phone credits. So that person might tell you, okay, I'm not gonna be able to run as many cell phone searches for you, but or provide you with as much cell phone data, because that costs you like one credit each, and you have a limited amount depending on the license that your company has for cell phone credits. But anyway, just ask a friend who's gonna if they're in software, they're gonna get access to one of the better tools. So take advantage of that. Most people are cool with it, never had an issue. Just once, one friend told me like my company is looking into the searches that we're doing, so I can't do it. Anyway, just ask someone else and it was fine. But if you don't have any friends, which is completely fine, maybe you're antisocial. No, I'm just playing. But I know that a lot of not everyone. I might feel like it's very common to have friends in tech, but that's because I was working for a SaaS company. So if you don't have any friends that have access to this, um, also ask other agency owners, um, Seamless AI, Apollo, and share it with them. But this is the best secret, okay? So the last one is go into Fiverr. Here it is, Fiverr. And what you're gonna do is that you are going to get simply look up, for example, Zominfo. Zoom info. It would be better if my internet was a little bit faster. But anyway, this one's. So I will find email address and B2B leads list from Zominfo. So you can basically pay these people $30, $20, $15 to run a search for you. And this one is even $10. And she has 5 reviews with 5 stars. So that's reliable. This one is 5. I'm sure she's fine, and she's just like offering it so at such cheap price because she doesn't have any reviews. So you can find someone like this. I think 9 out of 10 times you're gonna be fine. Um, don't get scared because they don't have reviews. With this service specifically, there are other services that you want to make sure that they have more reviews. So, for again, so instead of paying thousands and thousands of dollars, literally, for access to it, you can just pay. Let's say you pay $20 for a Zominfo search, that it gets you 1,000 leads, then 1,000 good leads with good phone numbers. Not all of them are going to be cell phones, but a good amount will. Then, what did I put? Oh, Seamless AI. Look, this one. Lead generation using Seamless AI. Since it's cheaper, they charge less for the searches, right? Seamless AI and Sales Navigator. I'm assuming he enriches the data while using both tools. So he scrapes the data from one tool, and then enriches the data with another tool. But anyways, $5. 15, 19, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, 19. 15, See, $5 again. Oh, it's pretty cheap. Seamless AI. Leads search. Well, I was gonna, Polo. I was gonna look it up in a bit, but here we have it. Polo, $100, especially with no reviews. Not with no reviews, that's pretty expensive. I mean, I will skyrocket your B2B with a Polo latest lead generation, LinkedIn leads, seamless AI. So maybe she runs, your search or on all of those tools, which I guess could be a decent package. But again, this one, find emails. She doesn't mention what tool she uses. But let's say, again, you can do it by this tool by tool, especially for the most expensive ones. So Seamless AI, Apollo, Zominfo. So let's say you spend $20 in a Zominfo search, you get 1,000 leads. You spend another, you spend 15 on Apollo. Let's say 20 on Apollo, you got 40, you get another 1,000, that's 2,000. You spend another 10 on Seamless AI, that's $50 for another 1,000. You got 3,000 leads and LeadRux. LeadRux actually I've never looked it up here, so let's see. And giving away all the secrets, guys. Oh yeah. Wow, interesting. LeadRux is gonna be wow. Oh, interesting. So there don't seem to be any people uh selling LeadRux searches, which is very interesting. So I mentioned, guys, like I'm giving away all the little hacks. I'm telling you guys everything I know, and it makes sense because I mean, it probably I've been booking appointments for years now, combined with my agency or working for software companies, and I had never heard of LeadRux until recently. So, wow, interesting. That's very cool. It's very important. I would recommend you looking into it because if there's not a lot of people using it, it's better. Why? Because that means that the leads have been contacted way less. So that helps. Because with some databases, especially if you go into the most saturated niches, everyone is using the same leads, the same leads and the same list of people. So the people on the searches have been reached out to 1,000 times, and they probably get 50 automations every single day, which you can still make it work, especially if you watch my video on how to create a fantastic cold message. You can still get results, but better go for other options if there's available. Also, I made another video about finding leads using ChatGPT. I mean, finding leads on different sources outside of the databases, and then use ChatGPT to get the data. And that's really good too. These databases are fantastic for if you're building out campaigns, but sometimes it is worth it to go out and build some manual lists yourself because of what I mentioned. That in these databases, especially the most popular ones, the people have been reached out to a ton. So if you use other less usual methods of outreach, these are new leads that not a lot of people get in touch with. So they're more they're way fresher, right? So go watch this video. Go watch the how to get leads using ChatGPT and how to create an outstanding cold message for your outreach, regardless of the platform. It can be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, text, the cold text, cold email, anything. Go watch that video. It's gonna help you have a strong messaging that books meetings, regardless of the platform and the strategy that you're building out. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys soon.